Record.
What's that?
That is a microphone. Mr. Wexner, it is 1:17 in the afternoon. Our minority colleagues touched on a lot of different subject areas, and I just want to go back through and parse out some things. First, though, I want to enter as Exhibit 5 the letter from Les.
One more. I'll get it back to the rest of
This document is titled Letter from Les, General News directed to the Wexner Foundation community. I will stipulate to you there's no date on here. The date it was posted on the website was August 8th, 2019. Do you guys have any reason to dispute that? In this letter that you wrote in August of 2019, you mentioned that you had that Mr. Epstein had various well-known, respected individuals as financial clients and in his inner circle. My question to you is, could you elaborate a little bit to who some of those financial clients were that you were aware of?
Well, it says Epstein represented that he had that. He wouldn't know if he did or not.
Were you aware of any of Mr. Epstein's other clients?
Let me think. Well, specifically, I talked to Ellie de Rothschild, and so I mentioned that earlier. So he represented their whole family, so there have been a whole bunch of people. I mean, most of them I never would have met, but I knew Ellie. I never met people, but there were people that called me that either insinuated or said they knew Jeffrey through a financial relationship. And so, I mean, they could have been actors, but in the time, a guy calls me up. I'll give you an example. It's just a
no, because I want you to understand this, because it's so confusing to me. He would say, like, I'm providing financial advice to the founders of Google. I'm providing financial advice to Jeff Bezos. I'm providing financial advice for the chief technologist at Google. And I thought, wow, I'm in good company, because these are really smart guys with a lot of money. And you have to put yourself in the mindset of if my attorney said, he was qualified to argue in front of the Supreme Court, I'd believe him. I didn't say to call the Supreme Court and say, tell me, is he really an attorney or did he do this? And I'd get a phone call from someone like a guy named Meyerwald. Who said he was the chief technology of Google. Jeffrey has been helping me, he's financial advisor. I told Jeffrey I was building a boat. He told me to call you. I had never built a boat, because I hadn't. But if I wanted to build a boat, I would go to FedShip because reputationally they're the best boat builders. Then, it was, and that's the part that is so embarrassing is what a commie was. And I don't know, you believe your priest or your minister, your rabbi is what they are, you believe them. And it was mostly phone calls of people would say, or if you'd bump into somebody, Jeffrey's my advisor, or Jeffrey's talked to me about stuff, or Jeffrey's helped me with financial things. I can't remember specifically, but as I look back at it, it was part of the con. So I never met Meyerwald.
Can I have 1 second? Because I think it will move this thing along a little faster. Telling stories, okay? Just answer the question.
Mr. Wexner, you mentioned some of these phone calls from other individuals, boasting about their ties with Mr. Epstein. Do you have a recollection of when most of these would have occurred, these phone calls?
Pretty regularly, but I can't remember any of them.
Understood. In Majority Exhibit 3, your statement from this morning, your written statement from this morning, you mentioned on the second page, I believe it is, second paragraph, approximately middle of the paragraph, that you consulted Ace Greenberg and Jimmy Kane of Bear Stearns, Epstein's former employer. Did I read that correctly?
Correct.
What did you reach out to Mr. Greenberg and Mr. Kane about at Bear Stearns with regard to Mr. Epstein?
Checking references.
And as far as checking those references, did anything come up surprising to you about Mr. Epstein's background?
All positive.
And you also mentioned, well, let me take a step back. Bear Stearns has mentioned and previously reported that Mr. Epstein didn't have a degree or some of the proper qualifications for his job there. Did you have any reason to doubt the qualifications of Mr. Epstein when it related to being your financial advisor?
I don't recall that I ever questioned that. That is, he had a degree. I don't remember asking the question.
And so going off of that, other than making some phone calls to some individuals, did you ever formally check into Mr. Epstein's past?
Not beyond talking to the people I mentioned.
Understood. You also state, sorry to jump back and forth, the letter from last Exhibit 5. That same paragraph, the third one in the middle there, the last sentence after the comma says, "I believed I could trust him." What about him, meaning Mr. Epstein, did he do that you thought you could trust him?
Well, I put him in a position of trust. He was a fiduciary that was to act in my interest, and I trusted that he could do that.
And your trust in him came before he actually handled any of your finances. Is that correct?
Correct. Because initially, he was like a friend of a friend who I perceived of as being skilled to review Harold's work.
Understood. Moving along a little bit, you may have touched on this with our minority colleagues. What was the rough portfolio that Mr. Epstein was handling for you?
Probably all my personal finance, houses, equipment, cars, just inventorying of stuff. The stuff, I don't know, all the financial things that someone would handle outside of their business. I had to have someone do because it was so much stuff.
And the financial advisor previous to Mr. Epstein, did that individual have power of attorney?
I don't specifically remember it, but I think he did.
And Mr. Epstein did have power of attorney over your financial matters?
Yeah, as did Dennis.
And why did this become your practice to give them power of attorney?
But so busy, traveling so much, the papers had to be signed, tax returns filed, people had to act on my behalf, so many things to sign that I needed to have somebody to do that.
Understood. How involved were you with Mr. Epstein's determinations over your finances? Did you have any involvement?
I'm confused about what determinations mean.
More of like did you have any oversight of what Mr. Epstein was doing as your financial advisor?
Well, I'm sure he did at the time, yeah.
And Did he bring every decision to you, some decisions to you? What did that look like?
I don't know. Was running a 20-division business, had community responsibility. So if you ask me what the president of the university brought to me or what the head of the foundation, I can't remember, but I was involved in everything except just a lot of stuff.
So is it a fair characterization of your testimony that Mr. Epstein had pretty wide latitude over your financial affairs?
Yes, that's fair, pretty wide.
And Mr. Epstein had access to your personal bank accounts, is that correct?
I don't recall.
Do you recall if he had access to any of your business bank accounts?
I'm sure he wouldn't.
Did Mr. Epstein ever ask you to lend him money for any reason?
No,
Did Mr. Epstein ever make any attempt to blackmail you for any reason?
no,
Did Mr. Epstein's control over your personal finances extend to any decisions that affected the rest of your family members?
it's just like, I want to say no, but I know that he was involved with the Children's Trust because I learned that today. Or what he did that I didn't know that would have been personal. I don't know what I don't know. But to my knowledge, he wouldn't have, in a civilian way, been involved.
And just to clarify to your testimony earlier about setting up trust for your children, it was Mr. Epstein who helped set up the trust for your children?
I don't recall.
Did Mr. Epstein handle any other financial decisions in regard to your children?
Not that I'm aware of.
And I'm sorry, gonna switch gears a little bit here about your foundation. Why ultimately did Mr. Epstein become a trustee of your foundation?
Just convenience for signing documents, financial oversight, not for the not anything that would be the operation of the foundation, its purpose or review of people. It was just part of the complexity of my personal life.
And forgive my ignorance, you have usually board members of foundations and separately trustee members. Is that an accurate statement?
I wish I'm kind of ignorant too. I think we just had trustees.
Okay. And just to clarify, Mr. Epstein, did he receive any compensation for his role on the board of the Wexner Foundation?
Not to my knowledge.
Do you recall who Mr. Epstein replaced on the board, or how that board seat became available to him?
No.
Did your mother used to be a member of the foundation board?
I think so.
And was, due to circumstances, was she forced to step down from the board?
No.
She left her board position willingly?
Yes.
Was can you describe in a little bit more detail the circumstances for why your mother left the board of the Wexner Foundation?
I don't recall. Probably age.
Mr. Wexner, what sort of materials did you use to prepare for today's deposition?
I'm going to object to anything that counsel showed him. That's my work product. Anything he reviewed on his own, he's welcome to testify about.
A few documents and smart advice, like just answer questions. Yes or no.
Don't discuss what your client, what your attorney told
Yeah, I
me.
mean, nothing.
The question was,
Okay.
what
Say it again.
Um,
I want to be honest.
Excuse me. What documents or other materials did you use in preparation for today's deposition?
other than anything that your lawyer showed you?
Oh, nothing.
Are you aware of any litigation from your mother and the Wexner Foundation about her stepping down from the board?
No.
Was there any was there ever any pressure from Mr. Epstein to keep his position on the foundation's board?
No.
When you were in the, I'll call it the prime of your career as a CEO over your companies and corporation, would you say that you were heavily involved in the operations of the company and its related entities?
Heavily isn't a big enough word.
Could it be described that you like to micromanage what was going on through your companies and your corporation?
No. That isn't how I would describe my involvement, and I don't think people that I worked with ever described me as a micromanager. But I was involved in so many things in the business. I love the business.
And did you ever face any criticism from your corporation or its related entities about allowing Mr. Epstein to handle finances in any way?
We never handled business finances, and no one in the business was critical of Jeffrey handling, his responsibilities to me personally.
No one ever brought any concerns to you at all?
Not that I recall.